let's do this. Let's go. I'm trying to think back through what I just saw, if there's one that I should pick.
I have a question.
Sure.
So in
Ride the wild horse. Phoenix spreads
the,
wings.
even a regular horse, but it's like, my breathing can never go deep until like, I'm always thinking extra. Is it just doing that? Is it the lung capacity of doing? I feel like the time we're up here, by the time I come down, I'm already like,
You're already out.
my breath.
Yes, I feel the same thing.
Huh. That's an interesting question.
Maybe it's just me not going breathing out slow enough. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be my first guess. Is just like controlling the exhale. Yeah, yeah.
I'm thinking about, I guess when I'm thinking about, okay, forward, sink back, go down, and by the time I'm thinking about that, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh crap, I already breathed out.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe think of it as like kind of reserving breath to the end. Like of course, I guess try to take it
But
a little
even
more.
when I do here, I don't start breathing in until I kind of get up here, because then I go, well, I'm already, because if I start it from down here, that's
You're
it, I
already
breathe in,
there. You're
right
okay.
there.
So it sounds to me like I'm assuming it's not like a lung capacity issue.
Okay.
I'm thinking it's a control of speed
Okay.
issue. Maybe it's a lung capacity thing too, but I think it's control of speed. Yeah, yeah. Just that, when I do the variation on the intro or on the like warm up meditation, where I talk about how to breathe, like long, deep, small, and smooth. The small one is the like take in less and let out less to kind of just make the whole thing take longer. So, I can give you, this is maybe parallel to your question. So, the idea for how to make the breath cause the movement, have you heard that? So in order to make the two feel like the same thing, that what Grandmaster Gohring taught me and what I think worked well, and I remember it because it worked for me, is, so you'd be sitting here, you can kind of do it with me if you want, but you imagine you're kind of like a deflated balloon or something to begin with. And you start taking in just a little bit of air and you don't even see an inflation for a second. And then a second later, you see it start to inflate. And just taking in a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. And then see if you can still take in a little more after you've been to the top for a second. Hold onto it for just a moment and begin to release the air, but you don't see movement for a second. Then you slowly start to see movement. Kind of like a tire, like you won't see it flat until it's already lost like a decent amount of air. Breathing out and try to actually breathe out a little more and hold the lungs empty at the end. So that's probably long. So that's why I don't know if it's exactly
I
helping
see how
you.
that's a good exercise.
Yeah.
And like make it a little bit.
Yeah. So it's kind of like setting up in your brain, like my arms are only moving because I'm taking in more air, or something like that. Some kind of little mental trick like that. And take in maybe a little more than you think you can, And this, in my understanding of how it works in Tai Chi, that's how you will slowly increase the lung capacity, is by kind of just taking in as much as you can, just a little bit more, nothing crazy, and then just kind of repeating that over time. That's, I think that's the best answer I have for you right now. Does that sum it?
That's helpful just to practice.
Yeah.
'Cause that's the only one I feel it on. I feel connected on breathing on all of them.
Really? Double Dragons works fine, and
Yeah, I'm not fine
Because
with
that's not
very
very-
breathing, but
well, let's talk about that too, though. So yeah, let's finish talking about that, or do you think we're good on that one? Okay, cool. Yeah.
accidentally doing it backwards
Yeah.
on double drag.
That's a normal experience in students, and also that'll happen in the form, because the form follows the same breathing as double dragons in Big Kong, but more generalized. So you'll sort of inhale, exhale to step, inhale, just like double dragons. You'll exhale to release and step. You'll inhale into the pump. Like there's this double dragon's breath all over the form. So it's good to start to internalize that in the same way with practice. It's just like building other sorts of habits or neurons or anything like that, right? So let's try the double dragon. So just come to your back position. I'm assuming you're probably stretched by now, and hold it. Let your breath out as much as you can. Start to breathe in. Don't feel it move yet, and then start start to feel the midsection of the body inflating from the air, literally, like almost like a balloon. And then at the top, feel like the body is supported by the air as well as the muscles. Same thing, when you breathe out, let a little air out, start to go back. And imagine that the air coming out is what lets you basically deflate down into your sunk position. Breathe all the way out. Fill it in and see if you can really feel it coming to the abdomen, diaphragm, the whole area to support your upright. Same thing, let it out, feel the support kind of give away, not totally, but release. And that same sort of tricking yourself into thinking the breath is causing the motion rather than you're just trying to do them at the same time. Maybe try it on the other side of that one just to see if it's any different. I'll be in here, but you can go at your own pace so you can work with your own breath. Yeah, one more. Yeah. So maybe you've felt this already, that spending time in that mode of just focusing on the breath and doing the posture is where you can see the benefit or the feeling, that Tai Chi feeling can come from. You know, similar to like breath work, other breath work or meditation or yoga type stuff, but different, you know, similar but related. That's cool, we ended up talking about breath. I didn't know what we were gonna talk about, and that's better than something I would have picked. Any other questions related to breath or otherwise? Let me think through it. Yeah, so just quick review. So yeah, in embracing horse, deep breath. So breath is always an important part of the posture, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. So I'm glad you were thinking about that, and I saw you working on it. Very good. So breath, just breathe deeply when you hold it. You know, this one, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Guitar, just breathe as you hold it. Compass, just breathe as you move and as you hold. Double dragons we just did. Rhinoceros, just breathe as you need. Ride the tiger, same thing. Phoenix, same thing. Hit the tiger. In the book they say breathe in, breathe out. But if you hold it longer, you might take extra breaths. You're not supposed to hold it that long. And then same thing, L turns head. Yeah, that's one that,
I can see that kind of.
yeah. And it's counterintuitive in a martial arts way because generally you would think you're going to be like exhaling when you strike, or like I'm hitting, I need to exhale. But really on this one, you want to have the structure of the breath of the body. Good job. Yeah. Oh, and last thing I'll say is there the kind of the 8 guidelines to Nei Kung. You've seen it in the book. There's like the pelvis tucked, toes in, knees out is one, head suspended is one, deep breathing is one too. So, what's that?
I need to
I'll show you real quick. It's in the opening section. Part 1.
I just need to get
You just need to get your own. Yeah. Well, early on it has like this little. Here's the head suspended. Here's the pelvis tucked. So it just kind of gives you visual things for all to see get you alignment. But one of them is deep breathing. That's the last one. So it's part of the set. All let's do this. Any other questions for me right now? Okay, let's do our life skill bow out, and then I'll give you your feedback after that. Path of self-mastery requires persistent action. Persistent action achieves a goal without quitting. Path of self-mastery requires persistent action. Persistent action achieves a goal without quitting. Path of self-mastery requires persistent action. Persistent action achieves a goal without quitting. Thank you, man. Beginner students, anyone else watching? Black Access Training dismissed.